Well, that was a hell of a way to introduce the next arc of the Vox Machina and their escapades. I mean, homeboy being a vampire. I mean, we kind of had that figured. Silas, and then of course, you know, his love. I think she's a witch. Yeah, I mean, she seemed to be hexing a bunch of stuff, and also like
there's a lot of different caster types in D&D, so I'm not really 100% sure. I can't usually spot them out just based off animations. The easiest one to spot is if you see a dude reading a book and casting spells. That's a wizard.
Okay.
But there's sorcerers, witches, and I don't really know 100% off the top of my head how to tell you the exact difference between all of them. Usually the two common types are wizard and sorcerer, and wizard being they prepare their spells ahead of time, cast them from books and stuff. Sorcerers are innately magical and can just throw shit out fire out of their hands and stuff, without having to incantation it and stuff. But that's the most simple way to describe it, because there's a lot of side caster classes and stuff now too. And I mean, other than that, you got obviously the holy magic, but that's more of a blessing from the gods type deal, usually. I think the holy people usually have a particular deity that they prescribe to, and they get their blessings based off the deity that they prescribe to, pretty much.
Well, I mean,
this is just the little bit that I know off the top of my head without looking it all up. And I've not looked at 5th edition at all. I've looked at 4th edition minimally. Most of what I know is actually from Pathfinder, which is a 3rd edition continuation. So, I mean, may not line up with what this is based off of. I don't actually know 100% which edition they're playing with this either.
I think 5 or 5e, not sure.
So what I heard was that 4th edition was pretty much not the most well received.
It wasn't.
By D&D fans, and 5th edition is a little bit more well received so far than 4th has been.
Micah seems to like 5th edition a lot. I think he said for him, his D&D crew are very happy with it.
I think 4th edition dumbed down a lot of the rules, is what people told me. Well, so it kind of made it harder to do whatever you want, and they were making an attempt at making the game more accessible, but as this usually happens when you try to increase accessibility for something, it ends up dumbing it down for the previous fans.
And it winds up pissing them off.
You have to figure out how to make something accessible without making it dumb.
Yes,
basically.
In which that can appear to be difficult, but at the same time, it is possible.
Yeah.
It is possible. You just got to put effort into it. Anyway, so Vox Machina, The Legend of Vox Machina. We're now on episode 4, Shadows at the Gates. So, also at the end of the last episode, they got arrested by the king. The king basically came out and said, yeah, place Vox Machina under arrest. And it's well, shit. Okay, that's shitty. Get declared protectors of the realm, and now you're being put in the slammer, so
my prediction for this episode is tonight there's gonna be a jailbreak
somewhere in this town. Sorry. Well, maybe. That would be a pretty good one, and I would appreciate Scanlan if he did sing that. He's just I've got it. This is an old one from a great sage known only by the words Linnet.
I heard this through a dimensional portal from another world at one point.
Yeah, but anyway, we got the episode queued up here. Let's give it a watch, see what happens.
Throw them in irons! You heard him. Come
on, we did nothing wrong. Sovereign, it's been a very long evening. I will see that they are properly punished.
Allura, something is very wrong with Uriel. He's under the Briarwood's influence. I can feel it.
That is a considerable accusation. Do you have proof?
No, but I can get it. I just need time and access to...
Imon owes you a debt, but that does not mean you are above the law. You are hereby confined to your keep, under house arrest. Your fate will be determined once we hear the Briarwood side of the story.
don't think hearing their side of the story is the best idea because they're just going to hypnotize everybody. Oh yeah, he took something, didn't he?
Book! They have my book!
We have the means of retrieving it, don't we?
Okay.
Well, that's pretty much the proof they need, isn't it?
The more you resist, the longer this will take.
Come on, man. It's not a weapon. I just want to serenade the group.
And you're doing us a favor.
Your belongings will be returned if you are exonerated.
Are you fucking joking?
I do not joke.
And what, we're just
Sweet
supposed to sit
sideburns.
here?
You have the run of your keep. I'm sure you will find something to entertain yourselves.
Come on. Yeah.
If Uriel is under a charm, maybe Pike has a spell that can cure him.
Huh? Oh, I don't know. What she said.
Screw all that. We should focus on this book. Ooh, maybe it has evidence that can clear our name.
Oh, really? You think you can actually read this thing?
Well, yeah, I mean, I only just started translating it. It says pyramid, spirits of the dead, and right here in tiny letters it says, fuck you, Vax.
Oh, lovely. Care to translate this?
Yeah?
Can you just stop?
We need to talk. All of us.
What would you like to discuss, Vexalia?
For a start, what the hell happened back there? You never thought to mention that the Briarwoods killed your family?
Damn it, Grog.
I wasn't aware that you were owed information about my past.
I want to know about the smoke. Sorry, sorry.
Smoke. My weapon burns black powder. Perhaps that's what you saw.
What we saw was you shooting an innocent kid.
No one in the employ of the Briarwoods is innocent.
The boy knew nothing.
Maybe I got carried away. But you don't know the Briarwoods. When they arrived in Whitestone, the Briarwoods came as allies. They slaughtered us in cold blood, seizing my ancestral home. Even our tutor, the man my parents entrusted with our safekeeping, betrayed us. After enduring weeks of torture,
Just looks like
my
a dude
sister
that you wouldn't
Cassandra
ever
and I
want to trust.
tried to escape together, but the Briarwoods know I'm alive now, and they are not in the habit of leaving loose ends.
So what's your plan?
Might as well plan for the worst. Uh-oh.
Eso, massivar, massivar!
Oh,
To the pleasant for Massakaltoa
great. Zombie uprising.
Victor Brahma
The thing about an old keep
Looks like
this,
necromancy to me.
it's quite
Yep.
easy to miss small details.
Haha.
You okay, Pikey?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Just tell them.
Can't you give us a little sunlight?
Pike just needs to open up and say, "Oh, hey, by the way, my amulet's broken. Maybe I need to try and get a new one." I don't know.
We're here. And so are we.
Ah, fuck a duck.
Grog. It's fine.
Oh, you can't take the cutlery. What if we get hungry?
Eat a fucking sandwich.
Hey, I don't take orders from you, asshole.
I like that guy.
Sandwich.
Eat a fucking sandwich.
Because he told me to.
Is someone there?
Everlight?
You always talk in your sleep.
I was meditating. Trying to, anyway.
God, I wish we had some grub.
Dang it, man.
What's this
Dang it,
powder?
man.
Herbs and spices?
The ashes of my ancestors.
Oh!
Right. Yeah, use this to talk to your goddess. Hello? This thing on? Am I talking in the wrong end?
After that spell hit me, the Everlight, it's like she can't hear me anymore.
Oh. Well, I mean, when people can't hear me, I'll just shout louder. Do you think she's mad at you? I mean, maybe you should just say sorry.
Hey, did you see something?
Oh, yeah, he did. Oh.
Damn!
Oh.
That was brutal as shit.
Didn't know about your past. But I guess none of us ever share that kind of stuff, huh? I may never see my family again. Yeah, my Armand Day. I don't get to go home until I complete it and prove myself worthy. Which might not happen, so. I know you think you're alone, that we don't know what you're going through. But you don't have to be.
I appreciate that, Keyleth. Truly, and for the record, I think you're damn worthy. Whether you succeed or fail, your family is still alive.
Where have the guards gone? Find out.
Shh.
Let him loose, let him loose.
Nothing's out here.
Ooh.
Everybody up! Creepy shit incoming!
What did you do?
Don't look at me! All I did was make a hoagie!
Hey, you tell us. You're the one who's been around them.
Chancing, I guess it was them.
Oh!
Scanlan!
Whoa!
They want the book! Katie, heads up!
Oh no!
No! Run, you little bunny!
Scanlan! Damn it!
I got him!
It's light.
Fall back!
Light is the only thing that can hurt them.
Oh, that sucked. Could really use my loot about now. I thought you said it wasn't a weapon. Obvious lie. Not any of these will do fuck all.
Appreciate that, Scandal. Oh god, no, don't be near the shadows!
I wonder what these things are.
Ouch.
She's gonna have to fix her magic somehow because she's probably the only one that can hurt these.
It's like that one beast in,
Yeah, time to make some more.
Stop saying you can't. Just do it.
I said I can't!
Oh boy. Damn. Not sure what those, not sure what the creatures are, but I think they're, you can actually hit them now in the light. Stab, stab, stab.
And make some corporeal.
Yeah. Alright, Grog. Do your Grog thing. Cool.
I've read a lot of monster manual stuff and bestiary stuff from the games, but I can't remember exactly what those would be considered.
Where did those foul things come from?
We told you. The Briarwoods.
And they'll no doubt send more. We can't stay.
You intend to stop those that did this to my men?
You have my word.
Okay.
Then go, and wish me luck trying to explain all this.
I mean, it's pretty easy. Briarwood's tried to kill Vox Machina because Vox Machina have proof of what they're trying to do, I guess.
No goodbye.
If we beat Silas, his charm on Uriel will fade.
And we can clear our names. Honestly, I wouldn't last a day in prison with this face. Look at me. I'm a snack.
We're all with you. No more secrets, all right?
Understood. Thank you.
Trinket!
Hey!
Hi, buddy.
Battle Bear.
Oh, I know, darling. But you'll be safer here at the keep.
Aww.
We'll be back soon.
Careful where you aim that thing.
See what I mean? A snack.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Probably get some supplies, huh? I can make a run to Gilmore's.
Not without me to negotiate.
I'm not going.
What? What do you mean?
I can't hear the Everlight. It's like you said, Grog. I think I need to tell her sorry. Properly. At a temple.
Well, I'll come with you. Like old times.
I have to do this alone, buddy. And they need you.
What if I need you?
Aww.
You can always talk to me. Even if I'm not around. You're their light now.
So I wonder if she, like, we were talking about early on when they started their live streams, she didn't seem to be with them.
I actually saw later on, Ashley Johnson does join them.
She does? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if that was like a pretense for, like, she had to leave for a while to do something else and she wasn't going to be around, so that they had to write in a reason for her to be absent from the group for a while.
Maybe.
And maybe they gave the druid, like, a secondary class that allowed her to be healer while she was out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Keyleth, I think she would probably be capable of a secondary class that
I can't remember if druids can just be healers without having to spec into a second class or not.
I don't know.
So they tend to do like nature magic, and like I know in World of Warcraft at least, nature magic can easily heal.
Oh yeah.
Because druids in World of Warcraft can actually spec and be healers if they want to be. They're not as good at healers as priests and paladins, but they're still pretty good.
Oh, and Pike's a paladin or a priest.
She's a cleric, I believe.
Or cleric, sorry.
Yeah, is what they usually are, and clerics are usually the main healer class for D&D, and it's basically the same thing as like a priest from World of Warcraft. So the difference being priests in World of Warcraft can actually be shadow priests or light priests. So, like, you can actually be a damage dealer by being a shadow priest, because you basically cast afflictions and shit on all your enemies and stuff like that. You have a cool ass shadow form where you basically turn into like a shadowy, like, edgelord to deal extra damage.
I hear that. I
think clerics can actually be sort of like shadow priests, depending on the deity they pick, because I think there are some darker deities that clerics can pick.
Yeah.
And they're usually not good for healers the same way as some of the more, holy deities would be, but they do have that option, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know, but I would say Pike going off on her own to rediscover her Everlight. Basically, I hope that we get a little bit of a insight into like the potential deities that exist in this world, because I think it would, if they're going long form storytelling on this, I mean, like, I think having showing deities, like having a hint of them at least early on that they can call back on at the end of this, I think would work. I think would work really well. in terms of like long form storytelling. Also, the whole thing with Vox Machina now being separated to a certain degree, I don't know how the dynamic's going to fully work.
Sarenrae the Everlight.
Sarenrae the Everlight.
A neutral good deity. So it made me curious. I was like, is that actually a deity in Dungeons and Dragons, or is that something they just did house rule thing? But it looks like it is. Known as the Dawnflower, the Healer, and the Mother of Music. Patron of beauty, compassion, and redemption.
Okay. Yeah, there she is.
She believes the corrupt can be redeemed, a mindset that led to a betrayal by the Lord of the Hells that left most of her following destroyed in the calamity. Only in recent centuries has her faith been rediscovered, coinciding with the revival of culture and the arts, and her temples returned to prominence.
Temple of Renewal. Huh. Okay.
So D&D is one of those things that I would love to learn all the lore for, but there's a ton of it.
Well, yeah. I mean,
just getting the time is hard.
Honestly, there's several things we could do.
Not to mention, like, anytime you play D&D with, like, a group of people, like, it's almost always the case. Like, I've played a couple campaigns where people were using the actual D&D lore, but a lot of the time somebody's just writing their own lore basically from scratch, and you're mostly just using D&D as a way to have rules for combat and encounters.
Let's see. So, Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard, and Artificer.
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 Or Artificer.
I've always heard Artificer.
I even mixed it up when I tried to say it.
I've heard Artificer for so long.
Artificer.
Artificer. Okay.
Blood Hunter.
A Blood Hunter. And then of course, you know, I would say my character's build would probably be.
What is this from?
Player's Handbook.
I'm guessing 5th edition.
I think so. Hold on. 5th edition, 5e. There we go.
Yeah, I guess so.
Here we go.
Look up the 3rd edition classes.
Okay.
Or 3.5.
3.5. Okay.
So I believe there's a lot more of them.
Barbarian, Bard, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Rogue, Scout, Swashbuckler, Warlock, War Mage, Wizard.
Because there's not more of them, but they're different. So.
There's different, yeah.
So my guess is most likely with base D&D classes, if Matt Mercer is DMing with base classes, that the wife of the vampire guy probably falls into the warlock category.
Probably, yeah. Wielder magic derived from a bargain with an extraplanar entity. Yes, okay, so that sounds...
And she could be a sorcerer too. Like a sorceress, you know, draws on inherent magic from a gift or bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
If she's just from a bloodline of dark magic, that could be it too. But I would guess warlock, because that typically tends towards the darkest of the casters, of the 3 casters.
See, monk, master martial arts skill.
Well, like when you get into Pathfinder, which continues support for 3.5, there's a whole lot more classes. Because they do have like witches and all kinds of different stuff in Pathfinder, if I remember correctly. I believe you have like a set of base classes, and then you have
the
like
secondary
expansion classes, and then like you have expansion races. It's like there's probably like 35 main races in Pathfinder, and plus the ability to take any humanoid's intelligent monster from the monster manual and have a monstrous race be a class.
I would say probably I've had a D&D character in mind for a while.
Not a class, but race.
Huh?
I meant race, not class, but
I would say fighter is probably what my character would be.
I like wizards and sorcerers.
Fair enough.
I like wizards, but I usually do the best with sorcerers.
I was gonna say
wizards are my favorite thematically. I like the idea of a very wise spellcaster type guy, like, fucking Gandalf, like what's his face from Mickey's master from Fantasia.
Yen Sid.
Yeah, and then like Merlin, So wizards have always just been a really bitchin' concept to me. But at the same time, like the whole idea of having to like cast your spells from books and have them prepared ahead of time never really vibed with me on the D&D front, so I usually went with sorcerer so I could just yeet spells out from thin air whenever I felt like it.
Eldritch Knight. That's interesting. With a spell casting ability. Interesting. I'm looking at
one of the things about the way you have to play a wizard in D&D is it takes a lot more I would say it takes a lot more pre-planning, but to an extent, if your DM is being very... if you play it, if they DM the way I DM, which is everything's a surprise, I'm not telling you shit that's going to happen before it happens. And I'm not going to drop you hints of what spells to bring and prepare, you have a lot of situational wizard spells that you could easily just end up never using, or you could end up just bringing a completely trash spell kit to an encounter for what the encounter is. And so that's why wizard just doesn't really vibe with me on the D&D side of things, but wizard vibes with me on a lot of other stuff though. I fucking love wizards and Diablo. Wizard's my favorite Diablo class.
I'm looking here at the
they're closer to a sorcerer from
School D&D. Of Abjuration, Conjuration, Divination, Enchantment, Evocation, Illusion, Necromancy, Transmutation.
Also, everybody's always like Stealth Archer in Skyrim. My favorite class I ever played was a wizard. That was fun as shit.
Wizard!
Which, again, it leans more towards sorcery, because you're yeeting spells out of your fingers,
Well...
without having to say stuff ahead of time. But I like the idea of, the wizards also kind of that usually say, a word, and it's they've learned these spells from a book or whatever, and then they say a word. It's just Harry Potter style, is what I would consider that. You have to be Avada Kedavra, and... You have to have a wand or a staff, some sort of catalyst for your spell. Those are cool ideas for wizards, and I like that kind of style as well. I've always wanted to play a game that's kind of where you start as a apprentice wizard, and you have really basic spells, and then throughout the game, you can just study in between adventures essentially.
Uh-huh.
And depending on what books you decide to buy from merchants / libraries you visit / other wizards you learn from, you could build a completely different repertoire of spells throughout the game. I think that'd be a really fun idea for a game.
Yeah. Well. Alright, everyone. I guess that's going to do it. This was The Legend of Vox Machina. Episode 4, Shadows at the Gates. Pretty interesting. Story didn't progress for that much, but a pretty gnarly enemy that they had to fight in this one, especially considering what it did to the rest of those soldiers. Ooh, that's kind of horrifying. They grab you, and the more they hold you, the more they drain from you.
Yeah, I'm sure comment section will tell us what those are called.
Yeah, feel free to let us know in the comments down below. But I think that's going to do it, everyone. Until next time, I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
See you later, everybody. Peace.